Greetings, Clausewitz here. So this time we'll talk about the reserve of the ancient Macedonian army. I will talk about, at first, about the definition of it in the specific context, and I will talk about their tasks, their duties and everything, and then conclude their effectiveness, their importance and everything, and yeah, let us begin. So, first of all, the definition, what I mean with reserve in the ancient Macedonian army. The point is, I actually define this by myself here. It's not like you find this typically, and when you read an article or something about the ancient Macedonian army, and then you read phalanx guides, shield bearers, and then reserve. And I won't say that I invented this. Of course not. I can't know this. There could be some guys writing a book about this, or writing somewhere an article and also describing the findings like I do. But I don't know. If you know this, share with me, but just that you know, just a clear disclaimer here. So, there were troops which were not part of the regular Macedonian tactic or formation. Basically not in the phalanx, in the sense of not part of the companions on foot, the phalanx guides, not part of shield bearers, not in the companion cavalry, in the Thessalian cavalry, not in the pelters and stuff like that. Nowhere there. And these guys were basically hoplites or hoplite-like troops, so heavy infantry, you can say. Even some light infantry there, but nothing special in quotes. And these guys would actually come from not Macedonia in general. They would be mainly from the League of Corinth, which were the Greek city-states, which were subdued by the Macedonian kingdom. And for multiple reasons, of course. Many politic reasons, draw out strength from them when you're with your main army not there, so that basically you can uprise against their rule and stuff like that. I don't want to go into detail about the reasons for them, but basically they came from there. But also mercenaries, like Greek mercenaries, mercenaries of the Persian Empire, or mercenaries of some barbarian tribes. It's not important here from where exactly. The point is, this is the main marker, infantry, which is not part of the regular force I already described in my videos beforehand. So now their tasks, their duties and stuff like that. Basically, it's not very directly described that they were always there for that and that. We know that at the Battle of Gaugamela, actually Alexander the Great used them to form a second phalanx. And phalanx here in the sense of a second battle line. To secure that the first one, which is consisting of the phalanx, would not be flanked or attacked in the back. But also they would they would defend the camp. This is here the point. And actually, when I think about these guys, and it's not like typical forces and everything, I only think about that you would use them for stuff like that. For for the case that there's cavalry coming around, really around the whole army, trying to attack the back, or cavalry is coming around or through a gap to attack the camp and destroying and grabbing all your stuff, basically your supply, your food and so important stuff. And for the case like that, so that you then have a force to react to it, to prevent that from happening, and of course without draining strength from your whole army, because if you really would split the phalanx guys for that, this would be awful. Then you would have really just a half phalanx in each. It's not good. Or if you just assign the companion cavalry for that, then you will have no shock cavalry for later, for some decisive moves and everything. So you see, it's okay for a reserve. But also you could use them for securing garrison areas, strategic areas. If you say, okay, I need to hold the city is important, and I can't have to police the city also. I want to go with the main army intercepting maybe another army reinforcing something. It's very important. I can't stay here, but I also don't want to lose this here, because against the enemy or against the citizens who could uprise and everything. So I just leave my reserve from 1,000 hoplites here, and this is fine. And you see, are very huge circumstantially events where they would actually be needed. And these are things you would know of it, it will happen to some point, to some extent, but you can't know when and how often and how important it would be. And so to have a reserve for that, this is really nice, this is really good actually, important. Of course they could also reinforce some points, like some forming an additional line or securing a possible gap or everything. Very similar what Alexander actually did with them, forming the second phalanx. And here's now more the third point. The thing is, I say to have a reserve in an army, basically for the war, is extremely important. It's not so that you can't secure your camp or your supply or your bag without a reserve. Actually, if you have a very flexible army, it's pretty easy to secure them from flanking. And of course, if you have really a fortified camp, then it's also pretty easy to secure it against some troops breaking through or aiming for it. You really then need an army to take it, or like a considerable force. And actually the Romans did both of this. They had both of the system to actually preventing this. But I would say that you at least need a reserve, like in the whole of your military. Maybe troops who are not well trained or not experienced yet enough to really put them up into the good armies, or basically maybe too young or too old guys, or maybe some injured soldiers. The point is, or even like foreign soldiers where you don't know how they would perform. This is also a point you have to keep in mind. In the ancient Macedonian army, this were like hoplites from the Greek states. They were educated and trained in their means of war, so they couldn't actually know. You have to actually integrate them through additional drills and training into your own army that they can perform. They even give them different equipment maybe. And also you don't want to just throw them into the shield bearers, because it was also a social rank. And uplifting some other guys into your own social ranks can be a problem for the army, for like the soldiers, for the guys inside of the society again. Already, not again. So what you see, basically to have a reserve, even to just say, okay, I can put some guys of this reserve to garrison a city, to police the city, to hold a position which is unlikely to be taken, but also to just put some troops there so that the enemy will think like twice in taking this position. This is what I say where you really need a reserve. You don't actually need them so much in army. And in every army. But in the case of the ancient Macedonian army, I would say you would need them, because the whole phalanx is not so flexible, is not so quick in reacting and everything. Very strong in the front, extremely strong, but of course extremely vulnerable in the flank and the back. And you can't just going around and securing the camp, and you need all your guys for your actions. So to have a reserve just for this and for other occasions is perfect. And also supply is so important. Supply is a game changer. Without supply you will lose the war. It's not like you can. Without supply you lose it. And I will talk about supply, how it plays in some other video in the future. I actually intended first to go into more detail, but the video would get too long. So this is what I mean. They had important tasks, and especially in the Macedonian army, because then Alexander the Great couldn't do what he did in the Battle of Gaugamela actually, or his success chances would be far lower. And yeah, so this is basically all about the reserve. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It helps me a lot. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested in this stuff, if you not already did. And in the next time we will talk about the light cavalry, and finally coming to the big guns of the ancient Macedonian army. And by the way, for information who is interested in it, I will make like a 100 subscriber special video about it, about this achievement, 100 subscriber. And it's kind of related to this video series actually, and it will take me some time to do it, because it's something different than normally, not like this setup here, and I need time to figure it out how I will do this, and maybe I will even just do it or upload it when the video series now is finished, because it is actually a nice addition to the subject here, and it would be very helpful if I have like all this information up, so even for you when you then see the special video to understand everything that I saying in there and explaining in there, so or what I show you in there. So yeah, then I said everything, so hopefully see you soon.